Rosie Dunn and Alex Stewart, best friends since childhood, have shared everything. The story opens with Rosie alone at a wedding reception, lost in thought. Flashing back, we see Rosie and Alex celebrating her 18th birthday at a bar, where a tipsy, emotional kiss unexpectedly unfolds between them. But Rosie loses her balance, falls, and hits her head, erasing the memory of the kiss. The next morning, Rosie only remembers the embarrassment of her fall and wishes the night had never happened. Alex, unaware of her memory loss, believes she regrets the kiss, interpreting her words as a rejection. This misunderstanding quietly lingers, casting a subtle tension over their friendship. Later, Rosie and Alex attend a beach bonfire, chatting about the upcoming school dance. Rosie reveals that Greg, the most attractive guy at school, asked her out, but she declined since she and Alex had already planned to go together. Alex mentions his interest in Bethany, the popular blonde, and Rosie teases him about still being a virgin. Blushing, Alex reveals that Bethany actually wants to go with him, so they agree to change plans. Rosie will go with Greg, and Alex with Bethany. At the dance, Alex surprises Rosie by saying he's no longer a virgin, having been with Bethany. Rosie hides her disappointment with a smile, and the two part ways with their dates. On the dance floor, Rosie and Alex share lingering glances, hinting at unspoken feelings. Later, Rosie and Greg head to a hotel room, but things go wrong when Greg's condom slips and gets stuck. Embarrassed and panicked, Rosie calls Alex, who leaves Bethany to help her. He drives her to the hospital, where a nurse removes the condom. Despite the awkwardness, Alex's support reinforces their deep, unspoken bond. A few months later, Alex earns a scholarship to Harvard, and Rosie is accepted into a hotel management program at Boston University. They're excited to move to the US together and start a new chapter. However, Rosie begins feeling nauseous and, following advice from a drugstore clerk, takes a pregnancy test. Shocked by a positive result, she realizes Greg is the father. Knowing Alex would sacrifice Harvard to support her, she decides to keep her pregnancy a secret, planning to have the baby and put it up for adoption to still pursue college later. When Alex departs for the US, Rosie, hiding her struggle, sees him off at the airport. They share a heartfelt goodbye, as Alex leaves, unaware of the life-changing journey Rosie now faces alone. Back in England, Rosie moves in with her parents and prepares to give her baby up for adoption, still hoping to attend college. But when she holds her newborn daughter, she realizes she can't part with her and decides to raise her. Naming her Katie, Rosie puts her college dreams on hold to embrace motherhood. One day, Rosie unexpectedly runs into Bethany, who's surprised to see her with a baby. Soon after, Bethany tells Alex about Katie. Shocked and hurt, Alex flies back to England to confront Rosie. She explains that she hid the pregnancy to keep him from giving up his Harvard opportunity. Understanding her reasons, Alex forgives her, spending a few meaningful days bonding with Rosie and Katie. Rosie shares that Katie's father, Greg, left for Ibiza upon learning about the pregnancy. Moved, Alex asks to be Katie's godfather, and Rosie happily agrees. But soon, Alex must return to the US, leaving Rosie in England to care for Katie. Back in Boston, Alex feels the weight of their separation. While alone at a bar, he meets a blonde named Sally, who offers a distraction from his loneliness. As years pass, Rosie and Alex stay close, sending videos to share their lives. Alex is now living with his girlfriend, Sally, in Boston, while Rosie has befriended Ruby, the drugstore clerk who'd once advised her to take a pregnancy test. Ruby and Rosie work as hotel maids, though Rosie still dreams of one day opening her own hotel. She balances work with raising Katie, who's growing up quickly. One day, Rosie receives a plane ticket from Alex, sparking hope that something more might happen between them. Upon arriving in Boston, they share a joyful reunion, spending the day sightseeing, laughing, and reconnecting. But when Alex brings Rosie back to his apartment, she meets Sally, who invites her to a lavish dinner. Throughout the meal, it's clear how much more compatible Alex and Rosie are, leaving Sally feeling out of place. During dinner, Sally unexpectedly reveals her pregnancy, which Alex hadn't mentioned. Rosie tries to mask her reaction, but the news leaves her shaken. Later, They attend an art show hosted by one of Sally's friends, but feeling overwhelmed, Rosie slips outside, hoping to leave quietly. Noticing, Alex follows her and asks what's wrong. Upset, Rosie questions how he could spend the day with her while Sally, his pregnant girlfriend, waited at home. Alex dismisses it as harmless fun, sparking an argument where each misreads the other's feelings. Frustrated and hurt, Rosie walks away, leaving Alex standing alone, watching her leave. Back in England, Rosie decides it's time for Katie to meet her father, Greg. To her surprise, Greg expresses a genuine desire to be involved in Katie's life, and they start spending time together as a family. As their bond grows stronger, Rosie and Greg rekindle their romance and eventually get engaged. On their wedding day, Rosie invites Alex, hoping he'll be there to share the moment. However, she feels disappointed when he doesn't show up. A few weeks later, she calls Alex's apartment to reconnect, only to learn from Sally that she and Alex broke up around the time of the wedding. In the midst of their conversation, Sally's water breaks, and Rosie hears her calling for Herb, the artist from the gallery show. Curious about what happened, Rosie texts Alex, who reveals that Sally had been cheating with Herb, and the baby isn't his. As life moves on for Rosie, her parents embark on a round-the-world trip, and she receives a promotion to receptionist at the hotel, stepping up from her previous role. One day, she runs into Bethany, now a successful model, checking into the hotel. As they catch up, Bethany mentions her upcoming trip to Boston. Thinking of Alex, Rosie suggests that Bethany look him up while she's there, hoping a familiar face could bring him some comfort. Rosie's life takes a tragic turn when her father dies unexpectedly while on vacation, leaving her devastated. In her time of need, Alex returns to England to support her, providing the comfort she desperately craves. He listens and reassures her, doing everything he can to ease her pain. At the funeral, Greg arrives, seemingly oblivious to Rosie's emotional state, and pulls her away from Alex. This moment makes Alex realize how deeply he loves Rosie and how much better he would treat her than Greg ever could. As he boards his flight back to the US, he decides to write Rosie a heartfelt letter, confessing his love and promising not to bring it up again if she doesn't feel the same. When the letter arrives, however, Greg intercepts it, suspicious of Rosie's connection to Alex, and locks it away, preventing her from reading it. Meanwhile, Rosie begins to rethink her future and starts planning to open her own hotel, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. With Katie and her best friend Toby now teenagers, Rosie finds herself reminiscing about her deep friendship with Alex. One day, Alex reaches out with a pointed question: is Rosie truly happy with Greg? Hesitant, she reflects on her life and replies that she, Greg, and Katie are a family and that she is happy. Yet, Alex's question lingers in her mind, prompting her to question whether she's as content as she tells herself. While on a work trip, Greg calls Rosie from the hotel where they once attended their school dance, casually mentioning he'll be extending his stay over the weekend. Rosie senses something as often confides in her friend Ruby, who checks the hotel's database and discovers that Greg has reserved the bridal suite. Determined to get answers, Rosie and Ruby head to the hotel, where they catch Greg with another woman, confirming Rosie's worst fears. Heartbroken and furious, she punches Greg, releasing years of frustration in one swift hit. Back home, she begins purging his belongings, ready to move on from the betrayal. During the cleanup, she finds a locked drawer in the desk and discovers Alex's letter, revealing his confession of love. The weight of what she might have missed hits her hard. Overwhelmed, Rosie video calls Alex, desperate to reconnect, but to her shock, Bethany answers. Alex soon joins the call, revealing he and Bethany are engaged and getting married in a week. They ask Rosie to be Alex's best man, and despite her heartbreak, she agrees, concealing her pain. Later, Rosie confides in Ruby, expressing doubts about her connection with Alex. Ruby, however, believes in their love and encourages Rosie to fight for it. She convinces Rosie to arrive at the wedding early, urging her to tell Alex how she truly feels before it's too late. A week later, Rosie travels to America for Alex and Bethany's wedding, accompanied by Ruby, Katie, and Toby. Due to a flight delay, they arrive just as the ceremony ends. Disappointed to miss the vows, Rosie focuses on her role as Alex's best man. At the reception, Rosie delivers her speech, sharing cherished childhood memories and the bond they share. She mentions her 18th birthday, the night she can't fully remember, and thanks Alex for being the best friend she could ever have. With emotion, she expresses that he's the greatest thing to ever happen to her, adding that she will always love him, like a sister loves a brother and a friend loves a friend. Although her words seem heartfelt, a hint of sadness lingers. As the speeches conclude, guests pair off on the dance floor, Bethany with Alex, Katie with Toby, and Ruby with her new love, Phil. During the dance, Toby leans in to kiss Katie, but she pulls away, shocked. She runs out to the rooftop to process her feelings, prompting Rosie and Alex to follow her. On the roof, Katie confides in Rosie and Alex, expressing her confusion about the kiss. Alex gently advises her against rejecting Toby, drawing from his own experience with unfulfilled feelings. Katie acknowledges the strangeness of the situation, likening it to if Alex and Rosie had kissed. Just then, Toby arrives, and Katie finally realizes her feelings, running to him and giving him a quick kiss. They return to the party, leaving Rosie and Alex alone under the night sky. Seizing the moment, Alex confesses that they had shared a kiss on her 18th birthday, and he realizes she didn't remember. Rosie is stunned, understanding that his choice to take Bethany to the dance was rooted in his belief that she didn't feel the same way. Despite their deep feelings for each other, the reality sinks in. Alex is now married, and they can't change the past. They share a bittersweet look, acknowledging the love that has always existed between them, knowing nothing can be done about it now. At the airport, Rosie and Alex share a heartfelt goodbye, their emotions high as they part ways once again. Rosie boards the flight back to England with Katie, Toby, and Ruby, each processing the wedding events in their own way. Once back in England, Rosie feels invigorated to pursue her dreams. She buys an old manor house and begins transforming it into a beautiful lodge. After months of hard work, the grand opening arrives, and Rosie throws a celebratory party to welcome guests and showcase her new venture. As the festivities commence, Rosie is taken aback when Alex appears out of nowhere. He looks handsome as ever but carries an air of urgency. Alone and without his bags or Bethany, he approaches Rosie with a sincere request for a room at the lodge. Rosie's heart races as she guides him to a stunning sea view suite, where unspoken words fill the air between them. Once inside the suite, Alex turns to Rosie, emotion evident in his eyes. He asks her to dance, and her heart skips a beat. "Better late than never," she replies, a smile breaking through the tension. He pulls her close, and in an instant, they share a passionate kiss, one that speaks of all the feelings they've held for each other over the years. The world around them fades away as they embrace, finally allowing themselves to explore the deep connection that has always existed between them. It's a moment of realization, hope, and new beginnings, and Rosie knows that this time, things might be different.